Section 2. The responsible conduct of research. At Charles Darwin University, we work on a backward mapping milestone system. We have 3 milestones during the 3 years of candidature, commencing with the confirmation of candidature in the first year. These milestones ensure that your doctoral candidate is working at both the standard of quality and speed that is required to finish with excellence, but also in the minimum time. It is clear, though, that a series of challenges and blockages emerge during that candidature, and many of these issues can be solved in the first few days, the first few weeks of their enrolment. The challenge is, if these issues are not addressed, the problems fester, and they can result in disastrous outcomes, not only for the student, but for you, the supervisor, and yes, the entire institution. The key question to guide you through this part is, who owns a student's work? Do you have the right to add your name to a PhD student's article? These questions matter. This is very, very serious. In December 2019, the NHMRC, the ARC and Universities Australia released a document titled Supervision, a guide supporting the Australian Code for the Responsible Conduct of Research. It is a powerful, freely available document, and all the excuses are over. There's no courtesy authorship. There is no, this is the way it's always been done in my discipline, therefore you have to put my name on that article. All that's gone. These unjust practices are now in breach of the code. The guidelines are ruthlessly clear. Let me read item 6 to you. Quote, examples of breaches of the code that are related to supervision include, but are not limited to, failure by a supervisor to provide adequate guidance or mentorship on the responsible conduct of research to researchers or researcher trainees under their supervision, or demanding or accepting authorship of a research output on the basis of supervision, where the individual does not also satisfy the authorship criteria in the authorship guide. End of quote. Now I know, and you know, we've seen through our academic lives throughout the world some dreadful behaviour around academic authorship. I understand that. But Australia has powerful and strong guidelines. Just because you supervise, that has nothing to do with authorship. Nothing. You will have to prove your authorship by a set of criteria. It cannot be assumed courtesy authorship has gone. It is important that these discussions with the code, print it out, talk about it with your students, that these discussions about the code emerge early in the candidature, and that they must be handled with decency, transparency and respect. If any challenges emerge, and they may, then please allow me to join that discussion, facilitate that discussion, or any of our colleagues in the Office of Research and Innovation. It is important that these issues are talked about, talked through, and resolved early in the candidature. Remember that in the Australian system, the higher degree students own their own IP unless they sign it away. And those contracts need to be signed by the students early in the candidature. And if there are industry partnerships or alternative IP collaborations in place, these agreements must be clear. Without this contract or agreement, students own their IP. The other key deal breaker in research is, of course, ethics approval. Research cannot proceed without ethics approval, and a lack of ethics approval can slow down the entire candidature, often by many months. So, after authorship and intellectual property discussions, I would go straight to ethics, and I would work hard with your student to get to that ethics approval as quickly as you can. So human ethics, interviews and surveys, animal welfare, biohazards. With these deal-breaker conversations now in place, let's move into that first year and that first milestone.